Naruto ran home rejuvenated after a filling breakfast and a talk with both Shizune and Kurama. He was amazed that the fox told Naruto's name, but glad nonetheless. By the time Naruto reached home, it was about 10 a.m., and his parents would be training Motoshi and Katsuko by now. Knowing this, he went through the front door quietly and tiptoed up to his room. Everything was as he left it, and he gave out a sigh of relief that nobody had found him. He knew that eventually he would be found out by someone unless he moved somewhere else away from his biological family. But at least it wasn't in a place where his home would be robbed by outsiders. He sneaked into the bathroom with one of his few pairs of clothes, completely black with no clan symbols on it from his room, and he had a quick wash so that he wouldn't be as suspicious looking before entering his room again. Pulling out the scrolls from the library, Naruto looked towards the jutsus eagerly, starting to read a jutsu. It was one called the Clone Jutsu, the one used in the academy, and he thought he would be really cool if he could do it. Kid, this is not the way to be going about this. A voice rang out in Naruto's head, not overly loud but clear. It made him shudder a bit. There was a sternness to his words that he hadn't wanted to hear from the fox. Now, I've used this before, but I didn't explain what it was. This is called a mental link, brat. I opened up one during the changes I made, for convenience sake. After a quick nod from Naruto, he continued. Start with the scroll on chakra control first. As a being with massive amounts of chakra, I understand the need for control, as you will learn too. You had massive reserves before, a benefit of being an Uzumaki, but it has been boosted by my presence in your body, and it will continue to grow. So it is essential to learn how to control your chakra. Okay, Kurama, whatever you say, Naruto complied. He was hoping to get onto the cool, flashy jutsu straight away. That would make his mother and father proud, if he was strong, right? This didn't seem to be the case, and that annoyed him slightly. Wasn't being a ninja about having the best jutsu to take down your enemy? Kid, most people would wait to tell you these things, but if you're gonna achieve your goal and become strong, you need to understand this. Pay good attention. I refuse to explain twice. Naruto was confused as to what could possibly be so serious about being a ninja. He was never really informed well about the subject, so he didn't understand the lack of justice in the job. He whined a bit, but agreed to listen anyway, not fully prepared for what he was about to be told. Taking a deep breath, Kurama sighed. This kid was smarter than most, and as cruel as he was, breaking a child's innocence about the ninja world was always hard, even when they were teenagers. They would all have to learn about taking another human's life, torture, and many other things eventually. And Kurama just didn't want Naruto to naively go about his goal and not knowing what he was getting into when he signed up to be a ninja. Look, he may think that having the flashy jutsu or cool ninja powers is gonna mean everything in life is a breeze. You get good pay and become famous while you are having fun beating everyone in the ninja world left, right, and center. You're strong, life is perfect. Like the Hokage, he seems to have it all perfect. The truth, however long it may take you to accept, is that being a ninja is a dangerous job, and many people you love and care for get killed. You learn not to trust anyone but yourself. Even your comrades could be working for the enemy. The things you see, the things you have to do with your own hands by the order of the village, and for the sake of your comrades. It's despicable. Naruto was shaken up by this, and deep down he knew this to be true. He had often caught glimpses of ninja returning from mission with blood staining their flak jacket, bodies carried over their shoulders as they rushed to the hospital. The occasional beatings from villagers had started to teach him about who not to trust, how people had emptied their eyes from loss or pain. He looked to shut out those thoughts though, so it didn't seem too bad. You have to lie, deceive, and still kill or maim innocent people for the sake of a village that uses you as a tool. You're told not to show emotion, to put the mission before all else. Everyone the village has a weapon. This village claims importance on comrades, but you still need to watch your back, because not everyone will be kind. And lastly, you have to kill people in an instant. And the moment you hesitate, maybe very well, the moment you die. Naruto kneeled on the floor, shaking as Kurama spoke. Memories of war were leaked into his head. Death, disease, famine, children orphaned and haunted for their bloodline. And that was only the beginning. There were gruesome images that Naruto hoped to never see again. But deep down, he might have to if he followed down the path of a ninja. It was almost too much for him to take. He was young and wasn't quite ready yet. The reality of being a ninja, kid, Kurama said gently, is that it is not a perfect picture. It changes your life forever. And once you enter, there is no going back. Kurama? Naruto whispered, tears rolling down his face silently. Why are you telling me this now? Why not let me live under false truth for a few more years like the other kids? Because the ninja life is rough, and if you choose to go down that path, I simply cannot tolerate a weak host. Naruto's heart sunk. Although he had spent only a brief time with Kurama, he had thought that just maybe, if he was lucky, the fox might have a soft spot for him, and he could have another person in his family, in his small family of Shizune, Tsunade, and himself. From inside the seal, Kurama muttered a quiet, I'm sorry, kid. He was ashamed of what he had done, but he knew it would be for the best, right? Naruto would make his decision and everything would be alright, or at least he hoped. The fox never had to look after others. It had been so long since he had been with his family, his creator and the other Biju, and so he didn't know how to go about it. He just had to hope he had made the right decision. Naruto sat on the floor for another 10 minutes, whimpering and crying. The mental link with Kurama was cut off, and he could not enter into his mindscape. As much as he wanted to go to Kurama, weak comfort from him despite what the fox had done, he couldn't. He needed to take his mind off things. He needed to become stronger so he could stop that from happening, so that he could protect innocent people from the ravages of war or greedy, ill-willed people. Deciding that it would do him no good to sit around and do nothing, Naruto retrieved the chakra controls scrolls from the various exercises and placed them in a pouch, running out of the house to do training ground from the other day. There were plenty of leaves there, and he soon began to try the leaf sticking exercise. He had little success, with the leaves always burning up or lighting into flames as soon as he put chakra into them. Deciding that he didn't have a very good chakra control for something that little, he would start on something that would give him a large area to spread out his chakra. Tree climbing exercise, huh? Naruto didn't get much progress at all, but the tree wasn't burning, so that was a first. Repeating the exercise until about mid-afternoon, Naruto had gotten 1.5 meters up the tree. He felt discouraged by it, but quickly lost that feeling on his way back once he saw Genin teams only getting up about 5 meters up, and according to their teammates that had been doing it for a day already. They were full-fledged Genin, while he wasn't even in the academy, so he counted it as a start. He wasn't a complete failure. Thanks, Kurama, Naruto whispered, because if he was really meant to have such bad control, then the fox was right. He needed to practice it. A small smile graced his lips as he continued to the streets of Konoha, stomach growling along the way. Oi, kid, what you doing out here all alone? You hungry? A man selling fried fish called out from his stall across the street. Naruto stiffened considerably, immediately on guard as if the man would do something to harm him. After seeing who it was, he walked over cautiously, looking up into the man's eyes. Don't scare him off, hero. A woman appeared from the friar, looking at him with a kind smile and no sign of hatred in her eyes. What's your name, kid? Are you lost? Deciding that since the villagers bared no visible hatred to him, he would give him a chance. He looked around frantically before he replied to her. My name is... Chapter 7. My name is Dai, miss. What kind of weird name? Weird name is that? He said quietly, looking up at her with his big red eyes. The shop owner was a little startled by his appearance, but brushed it off as many clans had unique traits and this boy might be from one she hadn't heard of yet. Her expression remained kind and gentle, making Naruto feel more welcome. She had never hurt him before, nor had the man, though he found it difficult to completely trust the villagers as many of them hated him when they knew he was the container. Okay, Dai, my name is Keiko, and this man is Hiro, she told him kindly, smiling at the boy, who shuffled away ever so slightly. Noticing this, Keiko decided to probe, so she could figure out how to help Dai. Do you know where your parents are? They left me here. They smuggled me into the village with some money, and they left, saying it was meant to protect me. Kasan and Tasan said the villagers were nice, and that the Hokage-sama would help, but I haven't seen Hokage-sama at all, Dai told her, looking dejected. They left me in some alleyway, and I went and bought some clothes earlier today. My old ones were all torn up and dirty, so I chucked them out. Keiko felt her heart soften at the story, and she felt sadness that he had to go through that, as it seemed his parents loved him. She moved forward and embraced the boy, giving him a gentle hug before looking at Hiro, the owner of the stall. He offered him a stick of fish, freshly cooked but not too hot, giving him a grin. How'd you like it, kid? Naruto gladly ate and smiled at the man. It's good. Thank you, sir. Naruto had stayed inside the stall on a plastic chair, talking with the shop owner about little things like the weather and what it was like in Konoha. He was quite interested to learn about his new home, and Keiko was happy to just talk and make him feel welcome. She knew not to push too far in asking things since she didn't want to scare off the boy. That would make it hard to take him to the Hokage where he could help. Hiro, however, had other ideas. So, do you come from a clan, kid? What an entrance like at... What? Why does he talk like that? There's like letters cut out. You know what? I'm just skipping his parts. Hiro offered Dai another fish stick that was politely declined and given to the next customer instead when one came. I never knew my true last name. Mom and Dad promised they would tell me in time to start training with the clan stuff, but cause we moved around a lot, they used Ichigo. I don't know why, they never told me. We were always being chased, and so in the end, I didn't get taught any clan things, so I don't have any idea about bloodline traits or clan abilities. The man was about to respond to him, but Keiko got there first, and he had to serve another customer anyway. He wanted to listen to him and find out more since he seemed to be quite the character. Sorry, Dai. Hiro doesn't mean to upset you. We were about to close for the day, so how about we take you to the Hokage-sama and see what we can do for you, okay? Hesitantly, Dai nodded, before smiling up at Keiko. I would love to, Keiko-san, he exclaimed happily. As much as he didn't want to see his father so soon, in case it made his identity clearer and ruined his chance at a new start, he knew he would have to. I can't let her see that I don't want to go. Any kid would be thrilled to find a home after being abandoned, and it seemed odd if I didn't, he thought, sighing and shaking his head. Damn right it would, kid. Good decision making. Kurama, Naruto thought, glad to hear his voice. Oh, but still hurt from earlier. He didn't like being blocked off from the fox, especially after being shown all that. He should have been there to comfort him, to help him, not to leave him to deal with things himself. Look, I'm sorry about what I did earlier, Dai. Kurama snickered a bit at the end because of the name. Why did you say your name was a type of orange? And Ichigo? Well, it does fit your eyes and hair. I'll give you that one. Naruto didn't respond straight away, conflicted about his feelings towards the fox. He wanted to forgive him, but he couldn't just let him come back and pretend that nothing was wrong. His smile dimmed a little bit before returning to thinking about the real world as he started to walk with Keiko towards the tower. Kid, I know I can't take back what I did, and I should have made you wait. I just didn't want to see you get killed because you underestimate what the shinobi world was like. Kurama Naruto warned, not wanting to hear this right now as he was concentrating on his mask for Keiko. Adults were perceptive. The ones that cared would interrogate kids the minute they saw something off, wanting to help. He didn't want to have to go to therapy or anything because he was deemed mentally unstable because of past trauma or any of that crap. He was perfectly fine. Lots of kids think that being a ninja is about flashy jutsu, as you did, and that isn't true. I will leave you alone, but just know, I only try to make you more prepared. With that, Kurama had left Naruto, who was about to burst into tears in front of Keiko. Why couldn't Kurama see that he just wanted someone to care for him right now? Rubbing his eyes slightly, he looked ahead as the Hokage tower came into view and put on a bright smile. "Who's the young boy, Keiko?" asked Minato as the pair stood in front of him, some of his shadow clones doing the paperwork while he dealt with any matters at hand. "This is Dai, Ichiko Dai. He was recently smuggled into Konoha by his parents and abandoned on the streets. They told him it was to protect him and he might have a bloodline, but he doesn't know what it might be. So that could be the reason he was left here," she recited, looking sadly at the boy. She had grown fond of him already and wanted to see him happy. If she had the money, she would adopt him, but she couldn't earn enough from the food store. Minato looked the kid over. He was odd looking and reminded him earlier of a certain tailed beast, but that was just a coincidence as the kibi was safely sealed away. Where was it sealed again? He couldn't quite remember, but he was sure it was safe and would never wreak havoc to this village for a long time, at least while Minato was alive anyway. "Hello, Dai. I am the Hokage, and I will do my best to make sure that you get home very soon." At this, Dai smiled sadly, but didn't speak. "Right now, I need you to go with one of my ninja. They will take you to get some tests done to make sure you're healthy and maybe to see if you're related to any known clans. I don't talk to Keiko here about something." Weasel, a masked Anbu, appeared next to Minato. "Go with young Dai and take him to the hospital. Get Tsunade to have a look at him for me." Naruto paled ever so slightly. If Tsunade was testing him, then she was sure to uncover him. But Shizune already knew, and she was sure to tell her anyway. Besides, Tsunade was one of his precious people, so he left that he could trust her with something like this. Itachi shunshined them to the hospital, where Shizune was talking to Tsunade. He knocked on their door, and they let him in, seeing as they had no patience. Upon seeing Naruto, Shizune knew to keep her mouth shut for the moment, while Itachi explained things in a hushed tone for the Slug Princess. "Hello, Dai. I'm Tsunade. I will be taking your test for today." Smiling at him kindly, Dai seemed interested as he excitedly told her all that he had heard from the Sannin, and that he thought Tsunade was the coolest. He said his mother had liked her a lot and told him about her. As soon as Itachi left, which wasn't too long, seeming he was in safe hands with the two, and Naruto was sure there was nobody else around, he explained everything to his godmother. He told the pair of them what had happened that day. But he didn't tell him the Kyuubi stuff. Although that was an implied factor for Tsunade. She knew that Naruto was hiding things but wasn't bothered to bite off more than she could chew right now, since he would tell her that what really happened when he was ready to talk. "Okay, Naruto, I still have to take these tests. It will be interesting to see what comes up in the DNA test," Tsunade said, taking out some equipment, before whispering to him. "Don't worry, I know about your furry little problem. Your secret is safe with me." He winced a bit as the needle went in, but it wasn't that bad to have his blood taken. It only hurt a little, and he had experienced much worse before from people with much crueler intentions. The test went smoothly, and both the medics promised not to reveal what they had been told after Naruto asked them. They knew that this was his chance to have a fresh start, and wanted him to be a child a little longer. Tsunade took him back to the Hokage's office, where the meeting with Keiko was just finished. Minato had wanted to ask her a bit more about the way Dai had acted. if he seemed scared or anything like that, and what exactly he had revealed in their conversation. The woman had been exiting the room and waved to Naruto as she left to return home. Tsunade, I didn't expect you to actually come and visit, Minato told her after the same Anbu as before took Naruto to wait outside and make sure he wouldn't eavesdrop. What did you think of him? Keiko seemed to think he was a little too mature for his age, but I guess some kids just grow up that way. He seems like a lovely boy, very bright but looking for a home. Shizune seems to have taken quite a liking to him, Tsunade replied, internally smirking. She had a plan, and she knew that it was going to work out for both Naruto and Shizune. Really? I wouldn't have expected that. She only ever seems to talk to the container. Whoa, who was it again? I can't seem to remember. The last bit was quiet, but Tsunade heard it. She was seething after hearing what Minato had said, but kept it in. She wondered what could have possibly happened to create the chasm that lay between Naruto and his family, but now wasn't the time to ask. He doubted they would even realize, seeming as they seemed to forget he existed. Yes, she seems very happier on Dai, happier than she has been in a while. Work has been tough on her lately, so I've made sure she's taking less shifts, but she needs more light in her life. She's lonely, she has friends, but they all seem to be on missions when she's free. Really? I think then maybe it would be benefit both of them if Dai were to live with her, at least for the first little while. I felt the sheer chakra size of that boy. He could be a powerful enemy, or a strong ally. Shizune could be happier, and Dai could have a friend, Minato proposed, smirking a little. He already begun to feel something off about the boy, something that made his stomach churn and made him angry, but he didn't know why. Hook, line, and sinker, Tsunade thought, internally smirking once again. Men can be so dense sometimes. He didn't realize I played him. He thinks the whole thing was his idea. I must agree, Minato. That is a splendid idea. I'll take him to my apprentice, and I'll talk to her about it. But I'm positive she will agree with this. Smiling sweetly at the Hokage, Tsunade bowed before walking to the door and chunchening away, unaware of the anger beginning to rise from the Hokage. So I'm leaving with you, Shizune? Asked Naruto after he said goodbye and thanked the Anbu who had been telling him jokes that his younger brother liked. Yes, Dai, I can help you out with training in my spare time, but I trust you know what to do during the day. You won't be going to the academy for another few years, but for now starting to learning the basics means that life will be much easier later on. The old bad students won't know what hit her later on. Not when I'm done with you, Kurama said, wearing his sly grin. Naruto didn't need to see him to know he had it as his expression. Are we cool now, kid? Of course, I'm your kid. That's like your kid, right? Oh, Kit, that's like your kid, right? So we're family, and family forgives each other. Naruto grinned back, excited for what was to come in the future. He had grown so much over the past couple of days, and Kurama was already proud of his kid, no matter how much he would deny it. Smash that like button if you want to see the next part, comment Q, and subscribe if you're not already. Roll the outro.